أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Thank you for coming this morning and for coming so early. Some students have traveled from as far as Escort and they left this morning 5:30. Today, many of you, it's your first time. I think 90% of you, it's the first time. The program is called the Young Students Forum. Initially, it was called the Bright Sparks Forum. Mr. Mahmoud Amra, the previous director of IPCI, it was his brainchild, or you should say his passion, where we take Muslim achieving, high achieving Muslim students from Muslim schools, or generally schools, who are in grade 10 and 11. 5 from grade 10, 5 from grade 11 from each school. And we introduce you or make you meet and have engagements with successful and high achieving and Muslims who are in the public arena, whether it is government, whether it is private sector, whether it is civil society, but high achieving Muslim leaders. So inshallah today, your first speaker is Mr. Mahmoud Yusuf Baker. He is the chairman of ICRA South Africa. And Mr. Baker is originally from Egypt. He spent many years in Saudi Arabia as a personal advisor to the chairman of the Dala Al Barakah group, Mr. Abu Yamani. And if you look at Mr. Baker in South Africa, he does a lot of work with disadvantaged communities and with students. And amazingly, Mr. Baker is an economist, I understand. Yes. Dr. Baker has his doctorate, his PhD in economy, in economics. So after this, you're welcome to ask questions. And I won't hold any more much of your time. When Dr. Baker finishes, for 10 minutes, we'll take a tour of the center, inshallah. The next lecture will be at 10 o'clock. That's Accelerated Learning Techniques, Mr. Junaid Bayat. And at 2 p.m., you'll have Advocate Yusuf Ismail with the mathematical and scientific parts of the Quran. And you'll enjoy that, inshallah. Right? Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Baker will address you now, and we'll talk after, inshallah. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you are all well this morning. It's a beautiful day outside. As Muhammad mentioned to you, I am originally from Egypt, and I'm an economist and a banker by profession. I moderate a few modules at Regent Business School here, and I'm also a trustee at the DUT, the Durban University of Technology, and I am a chairperson of an organization called the ICRA Trust. Any of you heard about ICRA Trust? Really? Huh? Any? No one? No one? No one? Yeah, okay. ICRA Trust, in few sentences, it's a non-profit organization where we support many organizations countrywide by way of donations. We assisted more than 1,000 organizations in the whole country. We don't discriminate. So we help or we support wherever there is a need. And also we assist hundreds of students every year to further their academic studies. So after you finish your metric, and if you achieve good results, you are most welcome to apply for financial assistance at ICRA Trust. We offer interest-free loans to average students, but for very good students, we also consider offering them bursary. Can you hear me at the back? Can you hear me? Okay. So as I said, we over the years we supported thousands of students countrywide. We work with all universities in the country, and also, as I said, we support many organizations, especially those who focus on education, training, skills development, healthcare, sustainability. We try to safeguard our natural resources in South Africa here. So we support many activities at ICRA Trust. I will encourage you, if you can see our website, you can see our logo there. This green one says, helping people help themselves. In other words, we try to fund solutions, not problems. So we try to empower people, educate them, create awareness of public issues in South Africa here. So I would encourage you to visit the website to know more about IQRA. Today we also sponsor this program every year with IPCI. And as Muhammad mentioned, we try to give you the opportunity to meet with high-profile people, to learn from their experience and have the opportunity to engage with them. I always, over the past few years, we always come to talk to you, but I'm thinking of maybe try to listen to you also, because at the GUT, we are involved in a very good program with schools, and I realized that the young learners like you, nobody listens to them. They always ask to listen to others, older people like myself. We engage with many schools, and we realized that the young learners, they like to talk. They like to express some views, their concerns. So I will discuss this with my colleagues, with Muhammad. But I wanted to explore this, and maybe we can change the format of the meeting. Then we will give you the opportunity, and then we can listen to you. We can answer your questions. So I would request to all of you to, you all have a piece of paper with you and a pen. Just a very, very small 4 questions I want you to answer. Every question needs maybe 1 word or 2. And then when you answer, give this piece of paper to Mr. Muhammad Khan. And then this will enable us to analyze how you think and maybe can give you better advice. So the first question is, I want to know, who is your hero? Who is your hero? Whether it could be, feel free, don't put your name. Then you will write freely. By asking this, it could be maybe an athlete, it could be an artist, it could be an academic, it could be politicians. But I just want, this will help us to help you to understand how you think. So take your time, but before the end of the day, deliver this piece of paper with the answer to these questions to Muhammad Vahid. The other question is, it's okay now? Yeah, okay. The other question is, what would you like to be after graduation? Simple, yeah. You can say a doctor, engineer, artist, athlete, politician, anything. The third question is, you are all Muslims here, am I right? All Muslims. I'm also a Muslim, by the way. But I wonder, I discussed this with my colleagues at IPCI before. I want to involve non-Muslims as well. Why not? South Africa, as Nelson Mandela used to say, it's a rainbow nation. Rainbow nation, like it's for all. I don't want to see our Muslim students isolated and don't mix with non-Muslims, whether they are Africans or they are whites or non-Muslim Indians. So I wanted to know from you, feel free. If you like to keep it as such, only for Muslims, fine. Just write, I like it to have this forum only for Muslims. If you like to meet with other students from other schools with different religion, just write also your opinion in this regard. Yeah, the other thing, it's very important to me as an economist and as a researcher, is what is the thing that really troubling you, and maybe you cannot sleep because at night. So any issue, like it's a crime, it's the future of this country, the economic conditions here, the political arena. So what is the thing that really concern you? And sometimes maybe you think about it at night. Even your own family, if you have a family issues. So, now the 4 questions, and they're all easy. So please don't forget to answer all these questions. Now I wanted to just talk to you small advice as I was requested, and then I will allow you to ask me any questions. I'm always, as an academic, you know, we always think about, you know, we have different methodology. Or I will take you back about the history of human thoughts. First man on earth, it's a very primitive society. People, you know, there was no technology, no science, nothing. So they used to apply what we call it theoretical methodology in thinking. Like everything, when they explain it, they imagine like a god in charge of everything. Like in Egypt, we have God for sun, God for night, God. Even some people, they used to worship crocodiles because crocodiles were very strong. They used to swim in the river Nile, and so out of scared, we started to consider them like a sacred animal. So this is, we call it theology or theological approach. And then it came what we call it metaphysics, or metaphysics is like thinking or believing in something beyond mind, beyond the reality. But because we don't have any explanation to this natural phenomenon or whatever, so people used to think this way. And then now we live in the era of scientific approach to things, science and technology. And this is really, it will change our life, started already to change our life completely. Because now, like in economics, for example, when we have in the history of economic thought, again, a very intellectual guy called Karl Marx, who introduced communism. You heard about Karl Marx? Any of you? Okay. He passed away 200 years ago. But I'm just giving you an example. He talked about communism, and he said, you know, he called for all the workers in the world to revolt and take their rights by force from the capitalists. And he put a theory, but it was all like theoretical. It was not tested scientifically. And he imagined that the whole workers in the world, they will unite, and then they will revolt, and they will have what's so-called the dictatorship of proletariat. Like the workers will control the world. But after 200 years, nothing happened of that. And still capitalism is very strong. And even those countries who tried to apply his methodology, like China, Russia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Laos, Vietnam, North Korea, Cuba, they all started to have a communist system, but all failed. And all these countries, they suffered a lot. So the way we test any fact in life is either we try to experiment it, to use the empirical approach, or to use mathematics. Like in economics, we have a branch called the econometrics and applied mathematics, applied economical mathematics, where we test everything mathematically. I'm sure you all study mathematics. So mathematics is really accurate, and it's a language. And through mathematics, you can build models to test anything accurately. So, you know, to test any fact, you know, we test it now in economics and according to the scientific approach. It's through, you know, samples. We, like in medicine, they test any medication on, it's a really laboratory thing. It's very, very advanced. Or with mathematics, or with the reason, with logic. So this is so what I wanted to say is, don't believe in anything unless it's proven. So this is the era that we are heading to. This old ways of making judgment are all wrong. Now it's the era of big data, of analysis, analytics. This is life. I will take maybe a simple example. If we all want to succeed, am I right? So the way to succeed, if you apply these three methodologies I talked about, the first one, the theological one, is just you will pray. So you will pray to God, hoping that you will succeed. So you will pray day and night. You don't study anything. Some people believe in this. They just, if they do their religious duty, they will be successful in life. Is this enough? I'm asking you. Is this enough to succeed in life? I don't think anyone will believe in this. But that was the belief in the past. The second thing is, the second methodology is just, which we call it metaphysics, is just to rely on luck. Some people, yes, they can succeed in life by just luck. But you cannot rely on luck. Luck is blind. Some you can see in life, you can see sometimes very stupid people and they are successful, but it's very rare. It's not the rule. The third methodology, the scientific one, is you need to act per reason. So you have to work hard. You have to study. This is the only guaranteed way to succeed. Am I right? So if you apply the three methodology we talked about, the only way to succeed, you can rely on luck. If you are lucky, sometimes it works, but it's not guaranteed. I will mention maybe a funny example. I'm sure you know President Trump in America. Do you follow his news, Trump? Yeah, Trump actually was not supposed to win the elections at all, because he's a stupid guy, and he's a crook, and he's a liar, and he's a cheater. But it worked with him. I think it will never happen again in the history of America to have such a bad quality president. And Trump, all he needed is ignorance with confidence. Some people, they are very ignorant, but they act with confidence. And he managed to succeed. People, they keep quiet or they get scared of them and they get successful. But it's not a good thing. So I just want you to always think scientifically and don't believe in anything, even the system of beliefs in our mind. When we believe in something which is not proven scientifically, if the knowledge based on belief, it's really very, very complicated, because belief is when believe in something, if you analyze carefully what is belief, you will see that the fact element represent not more than 30%. The other 70% is our opinion. So when we believe in something, it's loaded with our opinion. And then we started to believe that it's the reality, but it's not, unless it's proven again scientifically. So my big advice to you, this is what we apply in the academia, the scientific approach to things. If you want to be really successful, you have to act as such. Don't believe anything unless it's tested and unless it makes sense, it's reasonable. This is our problem in the Muslim world. That's why we are backward. Most of the Muslim countries, I have traveled and I worked in more than 40 countries in the world. I visited most of the Muslim countries, even the Soviet Union before they become Russia. I visited Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Russia, China, and I used to work in America and Europe. The Muslim countries are suffering everywhere. In the whole Middle East, it's all dictatorships in the Middle East and the corruption. And usually corruption and dictatorship, they go hand in hand. Wherever we have dictatorship, that means people cannot talk, and those officials are not accountable. Nobody can ask them anything. This is what we have. Saudi Arabia, the stronghold of Islam, it's a dictatorship, and it's most of the corrupted country in the world. I lived in Saudi Arabia, and in Emirates, and in Kuwait. I used to teach in Kuwait and the Emirates. It's all dictatorships, terrible. And they control their people by encouraging this way of thinking. Like science, it's not important to you. As long as you are a good Muslim, it's enough. It's not enough. Islam is about also, it's about knowledge. It's about science. It's about accountability. So the only way to progress again is scientific approach to everything in life. I think I'm done on time. Maybe we have a few minutes, 5 minutes or so. But again, I must say that you have a very bad habit. When I was a student, I studied between Germany and America. They taught us to take notes because usually the speakers, they can say something that can change the way you think, But I didn't see any of you taking any notes. That means either you are not interested in what I said. Is this true? You are not interested, or you didn't get anything out of what I said? No, you don't talk at all. You don't want to talk at all. or I was very difficult. Maybe I was very difficult. I don't know, but I tried to make it simple to you, how we think. But let me finish with then, if you don't want to ask, again, I talked about, to brief. I asked you 4 questions, and I like you to answer them. Please.
Why did you come to South Africa?
Sorry? How? Okay. Why? Okay. Why and how also. I was the economic advisor of the group that started Al Baraka Bank here. I'm sure you know Al Baraka Bank. So Al Baraka Bank was established about 32 years ago. I was working in UK at that time as an economic advisor to the group. I was traveling the whole world. And then I remember my boss phoned me and they told me, I will meet you in South Africa. That was my first visit to South Africa before you were all born. So I came in 1988 for the first time in my life, straight from London to South Africa. And we started Al Baraka Bank. And starting a bank is not an easy job at all. I'm a banker by profession, as I said, and the economist. So we started the bank from scratch. It took us a long time and the efforts to build the bank. And I have been the director of the bank for 25 years. I made a record in the banking industry in South Africa here. I retired from banking 3 years ago. I am now focused on my academic work and on ICRA Trust, as I explained to you. So this is my story with South Africa. And when I retired from the group, I liked this bank, I liked this country for some reason. I fell in love with this country. So I told my boss, he wanted me to stay with him. He didn't want me to retire. That was about 11 years ago. I told him I'm tired of traveling because I was moving, as I said, between about 40 countries. It was really tiring, yeah. So I told him I wanted to relax in South Africa, and I wanted to maybe dedicate the rest of my life to humanity, to help. So thank you. Yeah, so we started ICRA Trust, and as I said, through ICRA Trust, since I came here, we assisted more than 1,000 organizations in the country, and we encourage, people to work together and without any discrimination. That's why I asked you one question about whether you like to have other students as well. So at ICRA, we help on merits without any discrimination, and that's why we are liked by the government, by all universities, by all embassies here. They work with us. We work with all organizations. We believe in partnership. So this is my story quickly with South Africa. So I retired, and I'm here now for almost 11 years. And I work with the DUT, as I told you, and with the Regional Business School and ICRA, and also I'm the chairperson of another organization called the Orphans Endowment Fund, where we support many orphans in the country here. Okay, I said that I will finish with example of the three methodologies of thinking that we experience as human nature since the creation of us. Anyone remember those three methodologies I talked about? Which we call it theology, as I said, yeah? Yeah, which like part of the, we call it metaphysics, like it's something beyond, our reach and beyond our mind, yeah. It's just like our other beliefs, yeah. Excellent, yeah. The third one, huh? We call it like scientific approach to things, which we use it in academia, the scientific approach. But thank you very much, excellent, yeah. Anyway, let me finish with a small question I asked a similar group maybe 2 years ago. Imagine like 3 people in a sinking boat. The boat is sinking in the sea. And one of them is a Muslim, and one is Christian, and one, say, a Jew. And they all started to pray to their God. The Muslim was, praying to God sincerely, making dua, please save us, God, save us, God. And he was a good Muslim. And then the Christian also, he was okay. He was also like a priest. And he also started to pray to his God to save him. And the Jew also was a rabbi. And also he started to pray to his God to save him. Who will survive? Who will survive? Huh? Somebody say it? All? I heard somebody say it all. Yeah, it's a good answer. Yeah, it's a good answer. Any other answers? None of them. Okay. I will ask you why now. But who else wants to answer?
The one who knows how to swim.
That is the answer. Excellent. Yeah, very good. Yeah. I actually, what happened is we have in economics a branch called the behavioral economics. So I can manipulate your mind. So I took you to the wrong direction. I made the issue a religious issue. That those people, so your mind now is distracted. So I managed to distract your mind. So you're all thinking whether it's the Muslim maybe is a sincere or this. But actually, it's a scientific thing. Obviously, he will survive who can swim. This is not a religious issue. But in this branch of economics where we use the social media badly to abuse your mind, this is maybe I can lecture you about this maybe next time. I made it a religious issue, but I like the answer. Who said it again? Yeah, very good indeed. Yeah, excellent. Okay, now I'm finished. Just remember to answer those 4 questions, please, and give the answer to Mr. Muhammad Khan.
Sorry, Mr. Baker. You said not to put their names on it.
You don't need to put your names. If you like to put your names, it will be perfect.
If you could put your name, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
And the school.
Yeah. I just want to give you the comfort that we are not, yeah. But if you put your name and the school, it's very good. I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Mr. Junaid Bayat. You may have seen him on SABC TV. That's where I saw him. What's good is the learning techniques, accelerated learning techniques. We'll have 2 more programs like this for the year. Inshallah, he'll also contribute. We'll do it just before exam, so it will assist. Inshallah. I'm not going to take too long because I think we passed our time.
I need to connect up to
Abdul Khalik, I'll take the TV for you, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I'm Junaid Bayar. I'm very excited to be here and part of this initiative. There we go. Okay, so once again, very good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my session, which is on study skills. And today I'm going to talk to you about something that's never been taught to you. I mean, you guys grade 10, grade 11, you've been going to school every day, every week, every month, every year. And school teaches you what to learn. Has anybody ever taught you how to learn how to learn? And if you have, has it been using global best practices and techniques of the 21st century, or are they using old, outdated, techniques that were used with your parents and your teachers when they were in school? So today I'm going to be teaching you how to learn in a smarter, faster, and easier way. How many of you play online games here? Anybody online gamers? Oh, cool. So these are all the hacks there are to studying. So I'm going to begin by asking you some very simple questions. You do not need to pick up your hand. I just need an answer of yes or no. Okay? So here's your first question. How many of you would like to get at least 10 to 15% improvement in all your subjects? Oh, excellent. How about this one? How many of you would like more confidence? Especially, okay, very good. How about this one? Would you like more time? Yes. Not for work, to chill out, hang out with your buddies, socialize. Excellent. How about this one? Especially 10, 11, and 12 FET phase, when it comes to the last term, you guys start thinking, hey, I can't even remember what I did in the first term. Yeah? Would you like to be able to remember more information? Yes. Definitely, right? So I'm going to teach you 2 basic memory techniques today that's going to enable you to remember much more information. How about this one? What normally takes you like, half an hour, 45 minutes to learn, would you want to be able to do this now in 10 to 15 minutes? Yes. I'm not so convinced about that one. Yeah, definitely. And how about this one? Last one. Boys and girls, now that you're in grade 10 and 11, especially exam time, who stresses out the most? No? Not you. Definitely not you. It's mommy at home that's the one that stresses out the most. Have you ever had this experience? Wait, I didn't tell you what the experience is like yet. You just finished studying, doing your homework. You come out of your room, you just take your phone. You're about to update your status or check your messages. Your mother sees you on your phone and she goes, you're always on your phone. Ever had that experience? A lot, right? I call that machine gun because mommy's hand generally goes like that, So no more machine gun. I'm going to teach you today how to be stress-free and relaxed, chilled out. Because trust me, when mommy is stressed out, the whole house stresses out. And it doesn't stop there. Mommy will come to school and stress the teacher out. And when the teacher stresses out, teacher is going to stress everybody in the class. And then you look around, everybody's stressing around you, teacher, mommy. You say, everybody's stressing. I too rather do this thing called stress. And that's the reason I want you to be stress-free. So what we're going to do at the end of today's session, you're going to actually be able to study any information, not just academics, any information in a smarter, faster, and easier way. All right? Number 2, you're going to realize what your true potential is. And trust me, it's not what you think it is. It's far more. And I'm going to cite a study done by Harvard University and Stanford University to prove to you that you are actually not performing at your potential. The test that was done, it was even referred and used at NASA. They even wrote a book called Breakpoint and Beyond. You can go and Google this and check it out, right? The book was called Breakpoint and Beyond. They tested 1,500 little kids aged 3 to 5 years old. They wanted to know how many of this 1,500 little kids were born geniuses. What percentage do you think were born geniuses? Give me some answers. 87, excellent answer. All excellent, good answer. Anybody else? One more. 94. Hey? 90 something. Here's the correct answer. 98% were found to be geniuses at the age of 3 to 5 years old. So Harvard University, being Harvard, wanted to know what happened to the 2%, the 30 children from the 1,500. They did what you call a focus study. When you do your PhDs, we do a focus study and we do longitudinal studies as well. So what they did was they focused on that 30 kids to see what happened. They found that mommy had a complication when expecting them or in the childbirth process. So Harvard and Stanford University came to a conclusion. That conclusion was that every single person born on planet Earth, every single one of you is born a genius. I'm not saying that. Harvard and Stanford and even NASA is saying that. So every single one of you is born a genius. However, you've been pretending to be average. I kid you not. And it's not even your fault that that has happened. Because think about it, from when you were, first started getting report cards, grade 4 onwards, every time you got a report card, in your report card, you'll always see 2 marks. What 2 marks would you see? Hey? Your mark and the average. So who you've been comparing yourself to all your life? The average. Please write this down in bold. Stop pretending to be average. Stop pretending to be average. And it's my duty and my job today to actually bring out the little genius inside you. And by the end of today, you're going to see that, yes, I am that genius. Stop pretending to be average. Excellent. So what else is going to happen at the end of today is you're going to be more confident. All right. Number 4 is I'm going to teach you one technique how to study in less time, but remember 4 times more information. Would you like that? Absolutely, right? And then, how many of you here believe you got a bad memory? Quick show of hands. Oh, a lot of us. So here's something that you need to know. There is no such thing as a good memory or a bad memory. There's only a trained and an untrained memory. Because if you believe you have a bad memory, my follow-up question is going to be, did you ever train your memory? And you're most probably going to tell me, no, I didn't. Then I'm going to tell you, how did you come to this conclusion? See, so there's only a trained and an untrained memory. Today I'll train your memory with 2 basic simple memory techniques. And I don't know if you've noticed by now, I love to have fun and I like to smile a lot. Right? So I'm going to teach you how to actually make learning, as weird as it sounds, really fun. I kid you not. All right? And the last thing, boys and girls, you're going to have an edge in your studies. The Department of Education, since they've been using my programs, have come back and told me, Mr. Bayat, the average increase with grade 4 to 11s has been 17% when students use the techniques that I teach them. With matriculants, the number jumps up even more. Matriculants were getting a 24% average increase. And that's when I was featured on national television. Okay? So, this is what's going to happen to you, right? Now, I just want to read to you 1 or 2, what students had to say. Look at this student. She was in matric. She said, OMG, was amazing. I didn't expect so much. I wish I knew all of this earlier. And here's the weird one. I can't wait to go home and study. That's because now she was taught how to do it in a smarter, faster, easier way. So now they want to look forward to getting, doing it and getting it over and done with so they got more free time. Because that's what all of you want, more freedom, right? And like her, you're going to find literally thousands of students say the same thing. On my YouTube channel, on our website, there are literally thousands of students saying the same thing. Now, I'm not going to go through any more of that. I just want to show you another one. This girl was from Southlands Secondary in Chatsworth. She said, thanks, Awal, your tips for essay really helped. I remembered 20 essays using your techniques. She was in matric. Okay? So, this is some of the things you're going to get, right? Now, very quickly, who is Junaid? Who's telling you all of these things and promising you all these huge things that you're going to get at the end of this? The most important thing I need to tell you, boys and girls, is I'm not a teacher and never have ever been a teacher my whole life. I'm actually not from the department, never been part of the DOE. My background, very strangely, has been in technology. I designed email systems and networks for Transnet. From the time I came out of matric, I went straight to work for Transnet. I was gifted with computers in the early 1990s. And before that, old selfie of mine, right? We have to replace this. I'll be taking some selfies with you guys. I'm the founder of this company called GTE Coaching. I'm from the North Coast. I'm a little farm boy from Verulam. And I've studied the human mind now for almost 20 years. And I specialize in how people learn and behave, but mainly in kids, little children. I've been told this in December by an organization in London that they were looking for people to coach trainers to train kids. They said, Mr. Bayat, there's nobody in the world who's coached as many kids as you have, right? So I'm seen now as the global expert on child behavior and child brain performance, how kids learn. All right, I've created this program called Accelerated Learning, where we teach you how to study in a smarter, faster, easier way, all right? And like I told you, my background was in technology. I was a specialist for them 15 years, from 1994 right up until 2009. And then I decided to do what I was doing part-time. I started doing it full-time right? I started coaching kids and students because my colleagues used to come to me. Junaid, my son just failed in maths. Can you help? Oh, Junaid, my daughter just failed. Can you help? And I would help people. That's what I used to do. And eventually it became a passion and I became very good at it. So I decided to leave in 2009 and do this full time, all right? I've written 17 ebooks. The last ebook I wrote was in September 2019, which was on training and mastering memory. And generally nowadays, I write very short ebooks between 150 to 200 pages because people don't like to read nowadays. They tend to prefer watching videos, all right? Now, boys and girls, I'm very passionate about the youth and the future. So I'm very passionate. You'll find if you go on the social media, you're going to find that I do a lot of work amongst the youth and the children all over, not just in South Africa. So I'm very passionate to make a huge difference in your life today. And trust me, I'm going to do everything that I told you I would. A little bit of my accelerated learning program, I launched it in October 2011 officially. I was approached by the Sunday Tribune to write a column for them for the whole of 2017. I've been on various radio shows. I don't know if you probably heard me on Channel Islam, Radio Al Ansar, quite a few. I get interviewed by overseas radio stations, podcasts, almost on a weekly basis, right? I have also been lecturing at UKZN since 2013, as well as MUT, Mangosuthu University of Technology, teaching them the exact same things that I'm going to teach you. Brain performance and how to learn and teach in a faster and better, different way. Mr. Khan told you this already. I was featured on national television because of the amazing results I achieved with matriculants 2 years in a row. That's me with Professor Johan Engelbrecht when he also did some phenomenal work in maths. My program now has been used by over 125,000 people throughout the world. Now, before you start thinking this guy is so full of himself, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm trying to impress upon one thing. The results I have achieved over the last 10 to 15 years. Because boys and girls, at the end of the year, your parents, your teachers, your schools only look for one thing. What is the results? Today, people are only focused on results. So that's what I'm showing you, the results I have achieved over the last 10 to 15 years. My program is being used by companies like SA Home Loans, Liberty Life, Sogo Sun, FNB, okay? Even colleges, FET colleges like Daimler, Intech, ICESA have been all using my program since 2016. I even have coaches in Canada, in Russia, in Australia, in London, in Europe, all learning the program to teach it in their countries. One reason, I've created frameworks that can work anywhere in any education system in the world. So it's getting the results, and that is why people are using it. And the last thing about me is I'm a high performance specialist for example, Olympians, people that compete at the highest level. There's a boy from another country. He represents his country in karate under 16. I've been coaching him now for the last 2 years, not in the karate, but how to keep his mind extremely sharp and fast. I've coached ministers in parliament. I've even coached, and they kind of need it, you know. I've coached a lot of teams like the cricket, the Proteas under 23, the KZN Dolphins, all about mental performance. I've even coached judges from the High Court, all right? So that's a little bit about me. Enough about me, let's talk about you. Why am I here? What do I want to do for you? There's 3 things I want to do. Number 1, I want to empower, inspire, and motivate you to be able to achieve that 10 to 15% increase. And I want you to be able to do it in a smarter, faster, easier way. How many of you heard your parents or teachers ever tell you, hey, you need to study hard? Ever heard that? I don't believe we need to be studying hard. It's the 21st century, man. Come on. We need to be doing things in a smarter way. Would you agree? No? I think so, all right? And the last thing is, I want to help you remove what we call limiting self-beliefs. Now you're probably wondering, what is that? I'll give you an example. Have you ever taken a book, maybe your physics, you looked at it and you go, oh my God, I don't have time for this. Oh, this is so hard. Ever had those thoughts? That's called a limiting self-belief. I want to replace them with some very empowering beliefs, all right? And that's my objectives for you for today. 3 things. Empower, inspire, and motivate to be able to study smarter, faster, and easier. At the same time, removing limiting self-beliefs and replacing them with some empowering beliefs. All right, now, I'm going to skip this. But what I'd like for you to do, I can see a lot of you are taking notes. Very good. How many of you have your phones? I would actually prefer for you to use your phones and take pictures. And I'll explain why as I go along, all right? It's a much better way of capturing the information. All right, so now for you to be able to be successful in your studying, this is the framework that I've created that is used all over the world. There are 6 key pillars to study success. And this is whether you're in grade 1, whether you're in grade 7, whether you're in grade 10, 11, whether you're in university, 4th year, masters, there are 6 key pillars. What are the 6 key pillars? The first pillar is what I call the foundation of learning. Study psychology, everything dealing with your mind. For example, what do you believe about learning? If I were to ask you guys, finish the sentence for me. Learning is? Important, very good. Hard, stressful, these are the kind of answers I generally get, right? Hard, difficult, boring, stressed out, right? Those are some of the, if I told you physics is, you go, oh my God, you know? Yeah, so these are the beliefs you have about studying. Now, boys and girls, why is the belief so important? Look here, right now, every single one of you is here at point A. You just want to get to point B at the end of the year. And what you're looking for, you're saying, Junaid, I just want to go to the end of the year. I just want great results. Agreed? Right? To get these great results means I need to take actions. Now, to take actions also means I have to behave in a certain way. There's behaviors involved. Now, here's what's interesting about this. Your results, your actions, and how you behave are things that you can see with your eyes. Right? So I'm going to put here, we can see it. There are things that you can't see that drives all 3. And I'll give you an example. What is your name, my brother? Yasin. Yasin, we seem to have, I think, around about 40 to 50 people here. If I were to ask each person to randomly give me like 5 random words, any words, and I write them down on the board and we end up with like 250 words. And I come to you and I tell you, Yasin, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. I need you to memorize all 250 words in 10 minutes in order. Can you do it? He automatically went, I can't do that. So his behavior was, no confidence, I can't do that. Will he take action? Hey, Junaid, you're wasting my time. I can't do that. Right? What will the result be? He won't learn 250 words in 10 minutes. But Yasin, if I come to you and I tell you, listen, there's a memory technique I can teach you where you can learn 800 words in order. Now that I taught you this technique, now if I give you 250 words, now can you learn it? He goes, yeah, I can do that. What's changed? The only thing that's changed is something that you can't see, and that is his belief that, hey, now I can do it. So the belief you have about maths, about studying, about physics will have a direct impact on how you behave in the subject, will have a direct impact on the actions you take or you don't take, and it will also have a direct impact on your results. So what I'm asking you to do is, we need to upgrade, and you know how our cell phones and our iPads get updated with the latest iOS every now and then? What we need to do is, we need to update and upgrade your operating system up here. Today, let's just say today you came here, you're at version 1.0, right? By the time you leave this afternoon, you should be at 5.0, okay? So what we need to do is we need to update and upgrade the kind of beliefs we have about learning. That falls under the foundation, because boys and girls, if a foundation of any structure is weak, what will happen to that? At some point it's going to collapse. That's the same with your education. We have to have a strong foundation. How you process information, how we focus, how your brain likes to take in information. I mean, have any of you ever been in a classroom where you get a teacher who's just talking and talking and talking and talking, and you turn to your friend, after 10 minutes you zoned out, what time's lunch this guy? Ever had those experiences? It's not that the teacher is boring, it means the way he's giving the information is not how your brain wants it. We call that identifying your learning style and maximizing your learning styles, right? We're going to do that in the last session. So that's a little bit of the first pillar. The second pillar is called productivity. Comes from the word produce. What are the 5 important things that will help you produce the kind of grades and the results you're looking for? The 5 things are, number 1, time. How much of time are you spending on that subject or that topic where you're struggling in? Number 2, how is my memory in relation to this topic or this subject that I'm learning. Memory. Number 3 is about capturing the information. One way to capture the information is what a lot of you are doing right now, and that is pen and paper. Number 4 is about reading. How much are you reading on the topic, on the subject? But at the same time, how fast can you read? I mean, school has taught you how to read, right? Has anybody doubled or tripled your reading speed? No. What if we were to get you, we train your brain to be able to speed read, and now you can double or triple your reading speed? Do you think it will make a difference in your learning? If you're learning for an exam? Definitely. Do you think it will make a difference in a 2 or 3 hour exam? Absolutely. So yeah, we need to, because guys, we're living in the age of information. At a touch of a button, we can get information. So naturally, we need to consume the information in a faster way. And one of the things you need to do is speed up the amount of information we can take in, and that is by speed reading. The last thing is about thinking skills, problem solving skills, because that's what tests and exams are all about. So those are the 5 things. Number 1 is time. Number 2 is memory. Number 3 is capturing the information. Number 4 is about reading and speed reading. And number 5 is about thinking and problem solving skills. The next pillar, the third pillar in the system that I created is called performance, study performance. What are all the things that will impact your performance physically? Now, boys and girls, I need to tell you something. When it comes to physical performance, your generation is in sleep debt. They are owing on their sleep. Why is that? Technology, devices. The devices and the technology is controlling you. So what happens is we end up, whether you're playing online games, whether you're chatting, whatever it is, you're up till 1, 2 in the morning on your phone or playing games. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for technology, right? However, if the technology controls you, you kind of get in big trouble, especially if you're sleeping late at night, every night. Because if you wake up the next morning and you need to be at school, 7:30, 8 o'clock, because you're writing a test first period, you'll be hanging. I just need 5 minutes of registration time. You know, you just want that 5-minute nap. And if you guys were anything like me, that 5-minute nap feels like it's 2 hours. Yeah? So, physical performance impacts, physically, your body impacts your performance. Emotionally, if you had a big fight with your best friend, your BFF, maybe, I don't know, he did something or she did something behind your back, stabbed you, I don't know, whatever. And now you are emotional about the whole thing. Or, okay, let's use another example. Maybe you had a big fight with mommy or daddy. Mommy took your phone and everything away and like, mommy took my phone. What is wrong? You know, and you're in your room crying about it, and now you need to go and study for a maths test or a physics test. Do you think you'll be performing at your best? Not at all. So we know physical body impacts my performance, emotions impact my performance. Your attitude. Attitude will impact your performance. All right? What am I talking about? What is attitude? Simply put, I believe attitude is what you give off is what you get back. So if you're walking in a mall or anywhere for that matter and you smile at everybody, what will they do? They're going to smile back because what you give off is what I get back. The exact same thing happens in studying. If you got a negative attitude towards maths, you'll see a negative result. If you have a negative attitude towards the teacher of that subject as well, you see what happens is you start, the subject becomes very difficult suddenly. You know? So we got to have the right kind of attitude. Also, motivation. Are you motivated enough? Because motivation impacts our performance. Diet, nutrition. Now, when it comes to diet, by the way, any Hafizas in the room? 1, 2, okay, excellent. The reason I'm telling you this is what you eat, and today a lot of people are eating junk food. You eat out a lot, it's junk food, okay? One of the things I want you to stop doing is, or cut down at least, eat out much lesser. You guys are quite lucky in that your generation, I mean, I have 4 kids and most of them are like your ages, right? They eat out, they want to eat out like all the time. And I try and you know, tell them, no, listen, let's eat home food. The reason is, out food is actually made for what purpose? Taste. Okay, good answer. What else? Make money. To make money, for profit. It's for commercial profit. But home food, mommy makes it with love. And maybe she just read Salah, maybe she just read Quran, maybe she just made some zikr. That food is made with a lot of love. Eat as much as you can home food. When parents come to me and they tell me, Mr. Bhatt, my child is struggling in the Hifz class, the first thing I ask them is, when last you ate out? So cut down on eating out, eat more home food, all right? And eat more brain food, right? Like you gotta eat more brain food. And the other thing that impacts your performance is your mental performance. Just as you will exercise your body, we need to exercise the brain. We need to train the brain. So one of the things you could do is you could download brain training apps and play at least 10 minutes. Do a search on the iStore or your Google Play Store for brain train or brain training apps. The two that I personally use, one is Elevate and the other one is FitBrains. Now I'm not affiliated with them in any way, it's just that I prefer these. The reason being, they actually help you in the 5 major areas of the learning brain. The 5 major areas of the learning brain is the areas that you use every single day in the classroom. It's called VAMPS. Visual, attention, memory, problem solving, and speed. This is what you will use every single day in the classroom, even in tests and exams. Those are the 5 major areas of the brain that you need to train. So please start playing these brain training games because it's very beneficial to you. It's going to train your brain just the same way you would go to the gym and train the body, right? We need to train the brain, even if it's just 10 minutes a day. Okay, the 4th pillar, boys and girls, is what I call process. What is the step-by-step process to write a speech in 5 minutes? What is the step-by-step process to write an essay? Now, I've created frameworks for all of this. What is the step-by-step process to create a revision plan, an effective revision plan? What is the step-by-step process to learn? A lot of people think learning is sitting down, taking the book, reading it once, twice, thrice. I finish learn, and I tell them, no, you've not learned. All you've done is read. So I'm going to show you what is the step-by-step process today of how to learn any subject material, any information. Okay. So the 5th pillar is about progress. The human being by nature needs to constantly grow and get better, improve. However, a lot of parents have fallen in the trap when it comes to progress. The biggest mistake your parents make is they do this often to you. You know that girl in your class, she's got 7 A's, you got 7 A's from you. You know your cousin is doing so well. Ever had that? Being compared to another. That is the #1 killer of self-esteem in the youth and the young minds. Never. You got to stop this and you got to tell your parents, listen, this is me. I'm going to compare myself to myself. Where was I last month? Where was I last year? What marks were, you see, you always compare yourself to yourself. Okay. At the next session, I will go more in depth into see where you are and how to go to the next level. And the last pillar is about purpose. Just as we have a purpose on earth and we need to go to Jannah, it's not just going to happen just like that. I've got to do things. All right. So what is your purpose for going to school and getting educated? Why are you going to school? Give me some answers. What will school do for you? What will your education do for you? Get a better life. And what will a better life, you said hopefully. Oh, help you. Help you get a better life. What will a better life do for you? Live well. And what will living well mean to you? Make you happy. Say again. Dying peacefully. Oh, peace and contentment. Exactly. So that's long term. Boys and girls, the focus everywhere is only on this year's results. Stop focusing. It creates stress. That's why your parents will push you. Teachers will push you. Now, I believe science doesn't only have push, it's got pull also. So if you can look at what will my education do for me 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that will pull you towards it and it will motivate you more to actually get in action without anybody else telling you what to do. You see, you got to look at the long-term benefits, not short-term. Okay, so that's the 6 pillars to study success. All right. Now we're going to go into the learning process of how to learn any information, any subject material in 3 steps. Okay. So the first step in learning is I got to take in information. That is learn. And you probably go, duh, Junaid, I do that. But what exactly are we doing when it comes to learning? And I'll go in depth into that. Where's Mr. Khan? What time did you guys start? 9:30. Now I just want to know whether you still in a good buzz, or tired, or whatever. Okay, 9:30 is good. Okay. So the first step is I got to take in this information, right? The second step, once I take in the information, I got to keep this information in. This is the biggest challenge most students have. They learn for a test or an exam, and 2 weeks later they forgot everything. True or false? True. And that's the reason, or the reason because of that is because your purpose is all wrong. So please write this down as well. Stop studying for tests and exams. Yeah. Write it down. Stop studying for tests and exams. And I'll explain why. Look, the mind, the human mind works like this. Let's just say you were writing that test on Wednesday next week, and you studied for that test. On Wednesday comes, you write the test, the brain goes, or the subconscious mind goes like this now. Oh, test is over. I don't need this information anymore. And that's the reason we forget. So what we got to do is, where you wrote stop studying for tests and exams, under that write down start studying for knowledge. Start studying for knowledge. Knowledge is lifelong. Knowledge is lifelong. There's no time frame to it. Tests have a time frame. Exam has a time frame to it. So we got to have some strategies to keep that information in. And I very strongly believe that we need to learn something once, and we got to keep it in. Why must we learn first for the first control? Then half-year exam, we go and relearn what we learned. Third term, we go to relearn again. Final exam, you're still going to learn. I'm saying let's learn something once and remember it for life. Okay? So we got to turn and shift our purpose, move away from studying for tests and exams, and now start studying for knowledge. The last thing is I need to be able to use and apply what I learned. So let me give you an example of using an application. You see, most people, what they're doing is they're playing at the lowest level of learning. And what they do is they just regurgitate information. So I don't blame you. School has done this to you. In fact, school has taught you how to copy as well. No, I kid you not. School has taught you how to copy. Let me give you an example of how they did that. When you were in grade 1, the teacher would write down big A, small a, big B, small b, big C, small c, and then tell you, write what's on the board. What are you doing? Then from there it progressed onto words. A, apple, B, ball, C, cat, D, dog. Write what's on the board. What are you doing? Copying. Then it went to sentences. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, and then the daily news. Write what's on the board. By the time you come to high school, registration time, hey, bring the map. We became masters at copying. I was damn good at it, you know. So school has taught us how to do that, and we need to move away from that. So let me ask you a question, boys and girls. What's 2 times 2? Excellent. What's 5 times 5? Again? Very good. What's 10 times 9? 90. What's 18 times 17? Very good. 306 is the correct answer. However, you see, most of us, because we memorize the timetable, we don't know how to put it into application. Apply it in other ways, other places as well. You see, so we got to learn how to use and apply what we learned, especially in real life situations. Okay, so now I don't have a big whiteboard. I generally like to write this out on a big whiteboard. I'm going to use each one. Like for example, learn, I'm going to draw it here. Normally it will be on a full concept map or a mind map like that. Okay, so let's get into the first one. Learn. When you are taking in information, you're taking in this information in school. Who's giving you this information on a subject? Teachers, very good. Sometimes teachers, tutors. All right. You also have books in the form of textbooks, notebooks, worksheets. Okay. I want you to add one more. This information, when you take in information, you now also need to watch videos. Why? In May of 2016, Google went to 204 schools across Europe. And the reason Google did this is, we all know Mufti Google, right? Google owns YouTube. YouTube is the second most visited website in the world, frequented mainly by 8-year-olds to 21-year-olds. So we know your generation loves consuming videos. Now, they went to these 204 schools. They said, okay, teachers and tutors are giving the kids this information. They also have textbooks, notebooks, worksheets. What would happen if we gave kids a video of what the teacher and the books are teaching? Something strange started happening. Understanding of information shot up by 71%. Can I ask you this? Boys and girls, how many of you have ever learned how to use a phone, how to do something, how to make something on YouTube or on video? How many of you? Quick show of hands. So what we know is people are learning better when they're watching a video. So what would happen to you if you watched a video in the section that you're struggling in the section that you can't really get? Because if you go to a tutor, are you guaranteed that you're going to understand that section? No. And the tutor, you're going to pay once off, and that's it. Right? With a video, you can watch it unlimited amount of time till you get it. And by the way, if you watch YouTube videos, you know, YouTube got the settings button down there. You can put it on double speed. Okay, you can increase the speed. So, number one, start watching videos. Number two, the second thing we need to do when we learn is we have to pay attention. We have to focus. We got to focus, right, and pay attention to this information that we are taking in. But before I tell you how to focus on that information, let's look at what are the biggest traps to focus and concentration. I call them the 5 F's. The first F doesn't start with an F but sounds like an F. Anybody knows? Yeah, you got it. Your phone. Just imagine you're busy studying for a maths or a physics test. You're on your desk or in the dining room table. You're busy studying, doing some examples. Your phone is there. Bzz, bzz. You carry on. Bzz, bzz. Hey, what a nice video. Hey, let me set this for the whole squad. You are distracted. So distractions and interruptions are the biggest trap to focusing and paying attention. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not against you having a phone. I mean, I've got 2, all right? So I'm not against having a phone. The second F is food. You know, you're busy studying, 20 minutes into your study session. Grr, grr. Ma, I'm hungry. I'm out. Hey, you big enough, man. Go and make your own chow. You'll go, by the time you can raid the fridge and find something in a cupboard, half an hour, 45 minutes, gone. We are distracted. The third F is family. Family. And this happens a lot to the girls. We'll start with mommy. You're busy doing homework or you're studying. Mommy says, darling, quickly go in the kitchen, turn the stove off for me. Darling, quickly do this. Darling, just quickly do that. Ever happens to you? A lot, right? Now, let's not only focus on mommy. Now, before I go, listen, when mommy does that, it's an interruption and a distraction. With respect, you'll say, mommy, I'm busy in a study session right now. I'm going to have a break just now. I'll get it done for you in the break. At first, mommy might be pissed off, right? By the second and third time, mommy is going to go, hey, she's very serious about her work. And now she's going to, I'm not going to disturb her anymore. Okay? But at first, mommy will be pissed off. But you just got to stick to it because, listen, if you don't respect your time and your studying, nobody will respect it. You got to learn to respect your time and your studying. Otherwise, nobody will respect it. The second person, daddy or your father, you busy learning, doing work, father's in the lounge, maybe watching a game, and he suddenly goes, hey, and you wonder, hey, what's wrong with my father? Screaming like mad. I'm trying to learn. Okay? That's a distraction. Worse, if you got little baby brothers or sisters. Oh my God. You busy learning. Your baby brother or sister will come, hey, lend me your pen, please. And you say, no, I'm using my pen. Oh, lend me your pencil. No, I'm using. That child will go, hey, ma, you're not lending me a pencil. And the worst thing is, your mother's going to shout you for making the child cry. And another, if you have a bigger sibling, they got the music thumping, or if they're anything like my eldest in the house, playing online game. Go, hey, behind him, get, shoot the guy, come on, take this guy out. And you're trying to learn. You know, it's a major distraction. So we need to minimize distractions so we can maximize focus. I'm not against your phone. I'm not against food. I'm not against your family. What I'm saying is we need to minimize distractions so we can maximize our focus. The fourth F is your friends. And boys and girls, your friends will put you in the bush. Especially when you grade 10, 11, and 12. How? You know, when there's a test coming up, your friends will go, nah, I'm not going to study, I'm going to wing this one. They're the ones that did the most amount of studying. They just want to beat you. And trust me, your friends are not generous. Your friends are not generous. In the class, when the teacher is busy teaching, your friend goes, hey, you know what happened last night? I have to tell you. You are distracted. You are totally distracted. Some of you might see, you will have friends right here, right now, distracting you, right? Now, like I said, your friends are not going to be there when you're writing that exam. You are alone. You are alone, all right? And also, remember, if you did badly in the subject, do you think your friend is going to tell you, hey, you know what? No problem, take 10% from my marks. You think they'll ever do that for you? Never. Not going to happen. So I'm not against your friends. What I'm saying is, we need to minimize the distractions so we can maximize the focus. And the last F is Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, YouTube. Because, you know, if you're watching YouTube, and YouTube has this amazing function called autoplay. One video just finishes and the next one just starts automatically. And before you know it, half an hour, 45 minutes gone. You just lost time. Worse if you're in a very serious chat with somebody. And now, sometimes a whole hour can go by you chatting. Now, I'm not against all of this. What I'm saying is there's a time to be on the phone. There's a time to watch YouTube. There's a time. But when we're learning, we got to pay attention to the information that we're taking in. Now, let's talk about how. How do we focus? How do we focus on this information? So, boys and girls, if I write this word down, what goes through your mind? Very good. Where is she? What is she doing? Shopping. Shouting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. If I wrote this word down, what color? Okay, your favorite color or your dream car. If I wrote this word down, what color? Green, red, black? Apple iPhone. If I wrote pizza, yummy, mama. Now listen to me very carefully. Listen to me very carefully. This is called a game changer in studying. These are words. Your teacher speaks words. The books are in words. I just proved to you right now, the language of the human brain is pictures. I can tell you anything. I can tell you beach. I can tell you bicycle. The first thing your brain does, the first reference of the brain is a picture. You always picture. So when we focus, we got to create mental pictures. We got to focus. We call this visualize. You got to visualize it. Mental pictures. You got to visualize. You know, I interviewed about 2 years ago the head examiner who's in charge of mathematics paper on one of my radio shows. And I asked him, what is the best thing any student can do to understand mathematics? And he told me visualize. He told me visualize. I'm saying, like, visualize maths? He's like, yeah. To understand mathematics, you must visualize everything. Yeah? So, how do we go about creating these mental pictures? Here's your first memory technique. We're going to train your memory now, right? So, all pens down. All pens down. Let's train this brain. Let's train the memory. I'm going to give you 10 words. I need you to remember all 10 words in order. So, number 1, water bottle. Number 2, balloon. Number 3, batteries. Number 4, barrel. Number 5, bulldog. Number 6, diamond. Number 7, car. Number 8, ox. Number 9, toothpaste. And number 10, neon colors. Not so easy, right? Now let's do another way. Let's do another way. And I want you to imagine, like what we're going to do here. I want you to imagine, we sitting in this room, you're looking at the screen, listening to me. I take my water bottle. I'm about to take a sip. It explodes and it becomes a giant balloon shaped like a water bottle. And this balloon now is going up in the sky. And Junaid says, wow, I want to see what Durban looks like. And I jump into this balloon. And I'm going up into the sky, checking out Durban. And suddenly, somebody's shooting batteries at me. Hey, this Durban is a weird place. People are shooting batteries at me. What is going on? So I come to one side and I look down. Who's shooting the batteries? I see it's coming out of a big barrel. Durban is really weird. I'd rather stay in Verulam quietly. Now I look, I see who's holding this barrel. A bulldog is holding this barrel, shooting these batteries at me whilst I'm in this giant balloon shaped like a water bottle. And I'm shaking my head, and now the bulldog realizes I'm watching him and he can see. He bursts out laughing. He's laughing, right? And in his mouth was a big diamond, right? The diamond, because he's laughing and his mouth is so wide open, the diamond falls out of his mouth, rolls onto the road, and it hits a car. That car thought somebody fired a rocket at him. So he took off, 0 to 500, he's gone. And he parked off, now he thinks it's safe. After a few minutes he wants to move, the car is not moving. What's going on? I jump outside and I go to the front of the car, I see, oh man, I'm parked on top of an ox. So I go to the front of the ox, hey Mr. Ox, you need to move, man. The ox turned around, he's about to tell me something, I say, oh Mr. Ox, breath is stinking. Clankers. But no worry Mr. Ox, I got something for you. I go to the car boot. I open the car boot, I take out some toothpaste. I come to the ox in the front, I squeeze the toothpaste and neon colors come out. So boys and girls, what was the first word? What was the second word? Balloon. What was the third word? Excellent. What was the fourth word? Barrel. Well done. What was the fifth word? Bulldog. Excellent. What was the sixth word? Well done. What was the seventh word? Car. Excellent. What was the eighth word? Ox. Excellent. What was the ninth word? Toothpaste. What was the 10th word? Excellent. So what we got to do is we got to visualize, and by the way, your imagination, nobody can interfere with it. Nobody can interfere with your imagination. What do you imagine? The reason I'm telling you this, boys and girls, when I was in high school, I was very advanced in maths. By the time I came to standard 8, which is your grade 10, I was already learning university calculus. So what used to happen was, when my friends and my classmates would learn something and they do something 5 steps, I tell them, why are you struggling? I can show you a 2-step method, get the same answer. And when I do that, my teacher, we used to call this guy Battis. Battis, you all know what Battis mean, right? You don't know what Battis mean? Lightning, like light. Because every time when I do that, Battis will come there, hey, you teaching them, bah! Hey, give me a smack. Get out from my class. You're teaching them all the wrong things. So I'll ask him, but sir, how can it be wrong? Same answer, same answer. Again, bah! Get out. I would get kicked out, or I'd go sit in other classes and I'd learn the same, whatever they're teaching. I used to say that's information, I used to learn it. But my point is, in my imagination, when I'm learning the stuff, Battis, you hit me. Take one boot from my side too. That's in my imagination. Nobody can come into my imagination and interfere. So your imagination is very, very powerful. You got to use your imagination and visualize every single thing. And by the way, that doesn't mean I'm telling you now go and hit teachers, right? It's becoming very rife now. But I just used to do that in my imagination. Okay, so what we got to do is, the one word for this mental pictures is visualize. Visualize. You got to visualize. Because the language of the human brain is pictures, not words. Most students go and memorize and learn words. We know the language of the brain is pictures. The third step in learning is we got to create links. We got to create links. What are links? See, links are like this. Let me give you an example. If you lost your cell phone, besides panicking, right, where would you go and look for your cell phone first? That's right. And where would that be? The last place you was. Am I right? Some of you said the last place. Oh, that's because that last place is the link to the phone. Now, this is how memory works. Memory actually works by links, by association. A lot of students make this mistake. What the teacher is teaching, they want to remember it directly. And memory doesn't work like that. Memory requires certain links to be able to access that information. So, what we got to do is we got to learn how to create some links. So let's do another memory technique, a basic memory technique of creating links and association. Again, let's train this and no writing. Okay? Let's train the brain, let's train your memory. This time, I'm going to give you 20 words. A lot of you already believe, I can't do it. Remember I spoke about the belief thing? My job is to bring out the genius. You can do this. So, here's your 20 words. Number 1, sun. The sun outside, S-U-N. Sun. Number 2, shoes. Number 3, robot, traffic light. Number 4, table. Number 5, star. Number 6, eggs. Number 7, rainbow. Number 8, octopus. Number 9, cat. Number 10, toes. Number 11, skis. Number 12, roses. Number 13, spaceship. Number 4, she goes, hey, it's too much. Number 14, carrot. Number 15, money. Number 16, candles. Number 17, magazine. Number 18, truck. Number 19, hole. And number 20, glasses. The mistake you made, a lot of you would have made this, is you did exactly what you do to schoolwork. What the teacher teaches, you want to remember it directly. You wanted to remember the 20 words directly. What we got to do is we got to create links and associations. Okay? A link is about you taking what's outside, new stuff the teacher is teaching, and linking it to what's already inside. We take what we don't know and we link it to what we already know. That's how we create links and associations. Okay? So, if I were to ask you how do we go about creating links, we ask ourselves one question: what do I already know about this? What is the link to this? What do I already know about this? Number 1 was sun. What do you already know about one and sun? What is the link between one and sun? There's only one sun. Exactly. You know that. We all know that, right? Number 2 was shoes. What is the link between 2 and shoes? What do you already know about 2 and shoes? Pair, 2 shoes. We all know that. Number 3 was traffic light or robot. What do you know about 3 and... Oh, there we go. 3 lights, red, orange, green. We all know that. Number 4 was table. What is the link between 4... I didn't even finish on you guys. The geniuses are waking up. Really cool. Number 5 was star. What do you know about 5? 5 points. We all know that. Number 6 was eggs. What do you know about 6 and eggs? Half a dozen. And those of you that didn't know, eggs are always packed in 6s. Whether you buy them in 60s, 30s, whatever, it always packed in 6s. Number 7 was rainbow. What do you know about 7? 7 colors in the rainbow. We all know that. Excellent. Number 8 was octopus. What do you know about it? No, I'm laughing for another reason. I went to Westville Boys about 2 years ago, and doing this exact, when I came to number 8, a grade 10 boy shouted out, testicles, testicles. I'm like, and the principal was there. You know, I'm like, ooh. Nevertheless, tentacles, right? So, number 8, octopus. Why? 8 legs, right? 8 tentacles. Number 9 was cat. What do we know about 9 and cat? 9 lives. We all know that. Very good. Number 10 was toes. What do we know about 10 toes? I got 10 toes. Duh, Junaid, is it that easy? Yeah, that's how easy it is. Number 11 was skis. What do you know about skis and 11? It looks like, that's right. It looks like the number 11. And if any one of you have been overseas and skied, whether you got the skis down or whether you keep it up, because skis are always placed up, it looks like 2 number 1s. Okay, so those of you that didn't know, now you know. Number 12 was roses. I made it a little harder from 11 to 20. What do you know about 12 and roses? Somebody said bouquet. A bunch of roses come with 12 roses in it. Okay, those of you that didn't know, now you know. A little bit of general knowledge. 13 was spaceship. What do you know about 13 and spaceship? Say loudly. No? Okay, somebody say it. Anybody? That's correct. Apollo 13, first spaceship to land on the moon. So 13, spaceship. A little bit of general knowledge. Number 14 was carat. Women love this. 14 carat diamond. There we go. Excellent. Number 15 was money. Everybody loves that. What's the link between 15 and money? Who knows? $15 million. Good answer. Anybody else? What answer you gave? Also 15 million. Okay, good answer. Anybody else? But when it changes, I know now it's 15:41 today, I think. But when it changes and goes to 14, then, but good answer nevertheless. What was it you said? Hey? Same thing. Okay. If you didn't know this, government employees, not only in South Africa, throughout the world, especially teachers, get paid on the 15th. So, government employees throughout the world, money comes in their pocket on the 15th. 16 was candles. What do you know about 16 and sweet? There we go. Sweet 16, you have the birthday and you got 16 candles. Okay? 17 was magazine. What do you know about 17 and magazine? Say again? It's right what you're saying. It's a name of an international teen magazine. It's called 17. 18 was truck. What do you know about 18 and truck? That's correct. 18 wheels. Those big trucks have 18 wheels. 19 was hole. What do you know about 19 and hole? That's correct. Golf. 19 holes, right? But if you get a brilliant student who might say, hey, some golf courses have 18 holes. Then you go, yeah, no problem. Pat, 19th hole. Okay. 19 was hole, golf, right? And 20 was glasses. What do you know about 20 and glasses? 20/20 vision. Can you see? All right. So everybody together, what was number 1? Together. 1, 2, 3. Robot. Traffic light. Same thing. 4. Table. Excellent. 5. Star. 6. Eggs. Very good. 7. Remember the link, you'll remember the word. Very good. Rainbow. 8. Octopus. 9. Cat. Excellent. 10. Toes. Very good. 11. Skis. Well done. 12. Roses. Excellent. 13. Apollo. If you tell me Apollo 13, I'll tell you right. But spaceship was the word I gave you. Very good. 14. Diamond. Carrot. Excellent. 14. Carrot. 15. Money. 16. Candles. Excellent. 17. Magazine. Very good. 18. Yeah, that's right. 18. Truck. 19. Hole. And 20. Classes. Okay. Everybody please repeat after me. I'm here. No, you're not sounding like you're here. I'm here. I'm a winner. I'm a success. I can do this. Turn to the person to the right. Tell him, hey, you can do it. Now turn to the person to the left. Tell him, hey, I can do this. Okay. So how do we take what we've just learned and apply it to everyday learning? What we got to do is learn to use more of your senses. More senses. Because most people only rely on what they see and hear. The perfume that you use, if you use your favorite perfume and you study, when you want to go and write that test, you use this exact same perfume, it's a link. You just remember. You see what the teacher was wearing that day. Like I told you the story about the grade 10 boy in that. You remember number 8? You'll remember, that Westville boy. That's a link. Okay? That's creating an association. That is why when you chew gum, I know it's not allowed, but when you chew gum in school or in university whilst learning, and when you go to write the test or exam and you're chewing the same gum, it's a link. Okay? So you got to ask yourself, where was I sitting? What could I see? What could I hear? What could I smell? Maybe you were at home and you were learning dining room table. Mommy is cooking yummy, delicious prawn curry and you could get the smell. You remember the work, hey, that day mommy was cooking yummy prawns. Maybe at class, teacher kicked somebody out or somebody fell off the chair. That's a link to that lesson that you learned on that day. Now, boys and girls, why is it important to have links? A link is like a road. It's like a road. We call this a neural pathway to access the information to the brain. Now, if there was only one road to get to this information, and if you suddenly, there's a roadblock there. In an exam, some people say, I can't remember, I blanked out. So if there was only one road to get to that information, you lost out. But if suddenly there's more roads to get to that same information, guess what happens? Roadblock here, The brain goes, hey, I got another path and I can still get to this information. It's like if I were to ask you right here at this building, how many routes are there to get to the beach, North Beach? How many routes will you say? Some will say 4. Let's think a little bit more creatively. Because you could go even inwards, come around and even go that way, right? Now, it doesn't have to be direct. So there could be 10 or 15 different routes. So you got to create as many neural pathways to access that same information, right? By using as many senses, asking, where was I? What could I hear? Maybe whilst you were learning, you could hear somebody playing a loud, music or some sound. That's a link. You remember, hey, when I was learning that work, that's what happened. That was that. So we got to create as many links as we can to access the information. Guys, is this valuable to you? Is it helping you? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, excellent. Let's move on. The second part to learning is now we got to remember. To remember, we got to have some strategies in place. Number 1, we must explain things, that information that we took in. We got to explain it in your own words. Not what the teacher said, not what the book says, but it must be, I'm going to put here, own words. And it has to be done loudly. It has to be done loudly. If you do it softly, it's not going to work. You have to say it out. This is now verbalizing. In the first part, we visualized. Now we verbalizing. Okay? So you verbalize, you say it out loudly. The next thing we need to do is we also have to capture this information. I spoke about the first thing you need to do to remember, keep in information, is we have to verbalize it. We have to say it out loudly. The next thing we need to do is we have to capture this information. Now, the old way of capturing information is pen and paper, notes. I studied trends, and especially because trends and patterns and behaviors, and especially so because I was with technology a lot. Pretty soon, they'll do away with pen and paper. You won't be writing anymore, right? So what I'd like for you to do when you capture information, you see, you're all taking notes. I did research from 2014 to end of 2017 with 10,034 students. We asked them one question. How many of you take notes in class and in campus? 95%, yes, Mr. Bayat, we take notes. So the follow-up question was, how often do you look at the notes? 93% told Mr. Bayat, we don't ever look at the notes. Heads went down. So they say when it's exam time, we look at the textbook and we don't look at the notes, right? So I know you're going to take notes, but I also know you most likely, 95% chance, you're not going to ever look at it ever again. So what I'm going to suggest is, once you take notes, take a picture on your phone. Take a picture on your phone, on your tablet. Why? Guys, how often do you look at your phone? Every day. How often do you look at your gallery? Every day, all the time. Now, if you think of memory like a straight line, every time your eyes fall on that picture, even if it's 2 to 3 seconds, we call that a memory touch. Your memory is getting stronger and stronger. And what we said, the language of the brain is pictures. So I'd rather you take a picture on your phone of all the notes you made today. So every time when you go into your gallery and you see that picture, oh yeah, right, it's going to strengthen that memory. So even notes of classwork, take pictures. But even better than that, boys and girls, record the notes. When you're explaining it, record it on your memo or the voice notes. Why? If you listen to your favorite song or nasheed over and over and over and over again, what happens to you? You kind of know the words and it gets stuck, right? Let me tell you a story of what happened in 2012. There was a girl, and coincidentally it happened, she was from Crescent. She came to my exam prep workshop at Kingsmead Cricket Stadium, grade 11. At the end of the workshop, her name was Azra. She came to me and says, Mr. Bayat, I'm writing final exams in 2 weeks. I have not been for natural science the whole year. Well, whatever the reason was. She says, Mr. Bayat, I need to get good marks because I'm applying to university. She says, Mr. Bayat, you got to help me. So just to cut the long story short, I actually told her, listen, I want you to go home, take your textbook, and start reading out the notes. And as you're reading, I want you to record on your phone. And she said, Mr. Bayat, you don't know my parents, they're not going to allow that. I said, well, your parents don't know me. I'm pretty persuasive and influential as well. I convinced the parents, let her use the phone. Fast forward the story. 2-3 months later, I was live on Radio Al Ansar. Her mom calls in. Hey, Mr. Bayat, this is Azra's mommy. I'm like, okay, which Azra? I know a lot of Azras. You know, that one, she came for your workshop. You wanted her to use a phone. At first, we didn't want, but then we listened. I want to tell you and your listeners, your techniques work very well because Azra got the 3rd highest in the grade. I even screen grabbed the message she sent me. She said, I had lots of fun learning using your techniques, and I recorded the notes. I played it on repeat over and over and over again, even when you're sleeping. Whether you're sleeping, sitting in the car, helping mommy do chores, walking around, you just keep listening to the notes. People will think you're listening to music or whatever. But you're listening to the notes in your own words. She said, in your own voice. She says, I actually woke up eventually and I suddenly knew all of this information that I was never taught before. And I said, yes, it's just like music. If you keep listening to the same thing over and over again, the words kind of get stuck in. So if we record, what would happen to you if you recorded the notes of a section you're not understanding, you're not doing well in, and you let it play on repeat over and over and over again? What do you think is possible? Who knows, right? Leave that. Look at this video. Let me show you this girl. In the video, it's on my YouTube channel as well. She doesn't tell you what marks she got, but I will tell you, she had actually got 33%. She was failing, and that was one of the reasons they put her on this program. You can watch this on my YouTube channel. But basically what she says is, she deleted all the music from her phone and she started listening to the notes. And she got 96% in the exam. Her name is Zakila N.Ali. So my question is, what is possible for you if you were to record the notes in the sections that you are struggling in? The third thing we need to do to remember and keep in information is we have to practice. What is the famous saying? Practice makes? Come on guys, practice makes? So what are you practicing every day? Are you somebody who likes to go home, hey, so much work, so much homework? Are you practicing complaining? Are you somebody who likes to practice blaming the teacher? Because very often, mommy asks you, hey, what happened to your maths mark? Ma, you know that maths man, she don't know what she's doing, we're gonna fail. They love to blame. Now guys, one of the reasons you're on this training is to get you empowered to lead your own life. You got to lead your own education. You do not need to depend on a teacher or school. You got to lead your own education. Be in charge of your own education. So, what do we have to practice? We got to practice examples. The more examples I do, the better I get. And by the way, if you're going to do maths and you do 3 or 4 examples and you say, yes, I got it, I will tell you, no, you not got it. Because your brain is just getting the hang of it, especially in maths. You got to practice at least 10 to 12 examples before you start mastering a concept. Okay? So, if I were to give you an analogy, it's just like tying your shoelace. When you were a little kid, mommy bought you your first tackies, you didn't know how to tie shoelace, you'll go, ma, lace, ma, lace. Eventually, mommy said, hey, you need to learn how to tie your own shoelace. And she taught you how to tie your shoelace. So the first time, it took you maybe like 5-10 minutes, you struggled, circled, and you got it. You started running around, after 10-15 minutes, it got open. So you said, no, this time I want to make a knot and make it tighter. And it got tighter. Every time you tied your shoelace from then till today, you've been practicing tying your shoelace. Today, if I asked you to tie your shoelace, you'll bend down without even looking. Why? You've practiced so much. So, we got to do a lot of practice examples, the class examples, the textbook examples. The more I practice, the better you're going to get with the concept. The next thing that we got to do to remember information is I have to do revision. But I know you're going to tell me, Junaid, you don't know, I got to go for tuition, I got this intervention, I got that. I don't have time for revision. Can I ask you a question, a very simple question? Is 2 minutes a long time or a very short time? We all agree 2 minutes is a very short time. What if I told you there's a technique that requires only 2 minutes but it will boost your memory by 400%. Let me tell you what the technique is. What you got to do is, at the end of every school day, you take out 12 minutes for all subjects. It's 2 minutes per subject, right? So you look at your timetable. First period, what did I learn in the first period? And what you will do is, you will write down 5 keywords, key ideas, or key concepts. Note, I didn't say sentences. I said keywords, key ideas, and key concepts. You'll write down 5. Maybe you didn't learn 5 things. Maybe you only learned 3, okay? So what you'll do with those 5 keywords, key ideas, and key concepts, I will visualize it, and as I'm visualizing it, I will explain it in my own words. I'll verbalize it. And yes, you can make mistakes when explaining. Mistakes are your best friend. The time to get it perfect is in the test or the exam. When you're learning, make as many mistakes as you can. So you'll visualize it, and you'll now start explaining it in your own words, and then you will now summarize it, write it down without being able to see the 5 words. Write it down without looking. So all it takes is 2 minutes per subject. And some of you may not do your full 6 subjects every day. I don't know what your timetables are like, but generally you won't do all 6 subjects every day. I don't count LO. If you're counting LO as the 7th, right? I just don't count LO. I mean, I think LO is like marks for jam. But nevertheless, you can take this a step further. You can take this a step further. On the weekend, you take 10 minutes for each subject for the whole week. You could do 3 on Saturday and 3 on Sunday. And in the 10 minutes, you write down all the concepts, the keywords that you learned for the whole week. You visualize it, you verbalize it, and you summarize it. You do those 3 things. Okay? So this can be done in the weekend, but this must be done every day. Now those of you that did Hifz or Hafiz, if you did Hifz, you'll know you take Sabak, Sabak Dor, and Dor. Can you see? So I based this on how I did Hifz. And when I taught this to my younger brother, who's a chartered accountant now, he became a Hafiz at the age of 7. He's my third. I'm the eldest, and we 4 brothers. He's the third. He learned all the techniques. He's now a chartered accountant for Tusogo's son. But he became a Hafiz at the age of 7. So my whole system is based on how I did Hifz. 3 steps. That's why I said, if we can learn the Quran, a language we don't understand, a language we don't even speak, right? If we can learn that 960 odd pages to learn any other information, is a piece of cake. Okay? It becomes easy. But this is what you do. All right? Let's go to the last part. The last part is I need to now learn how to use and apply what I learned. Okay? So everybody, please repeat after me. I'm a winner. I'm a success. I can do this. I am a leader. You're leading your own lives. You're leading your own education. The first thing you must do to actually use what you learn is teach it to somebody. And a lot of you will go, no, Julian, I don't want to teach physics. I don't even know the thing. No sweat. No problem. Go to your room. Close the door. Stand in front of the mirror. Okay, class, I'm going to teach you how to learn. You know, when we were little kids, I used to love playing teacher, and I used to love being the teacher. I like to boss everybody. No, I'm kidding. So, if you want to make it fun and interesting, girls, you can take all your teddy bears, put it on the bed. Boys, if you got still your old cars and stuff, park the cars there. No. So what you do is, you teach it as though you're teaching it to somebody. And at the same time, you can record again. You can record again. Right? The next thing we need to do is we must learn how to question what we learn. We need to learn to ask lots of questions. Please write this down. More questions equals more understanding. The problem we have is people ask dumb questions in class. When you ask a dumb question, you get a dumb answer, wasted the teacher's time, class time. They love asking dumb questions. So we need to ask smart questions. But one of the most important questions you need to ask are the 6 W's plus 1 H. Who, what, why, where, when, which. And the 1 H is how. Because see, it's the weekend now, right? And this is every weekend when you come back to school on Monday morning. Hey, what you did in the weekend? Where you went? Why you went there? Who you went with? When you going again? What are we doing? We are asking questions. It's giving us important information. Now the problem is, like I told you, students don't ask smart questions. Okay? Let me put it to you this way. If I were to ask you this question, how many of you are doing science, natural science? All of you. Okay, hands down, hands down. How many states of matter are there? Three? 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 Everybody agrees? Three? There's 5 states of matter. Because your textbook says there are 3, does it mean it's right? Have you ever questioned, when was this? Because textbooks take generally about 7 years before they get into production. Right? Go and Google. Google search it. How many states of matter? Solid, liquid, gas, plasma, both verbatim Einstein. 5. In fact, some studies even say there's 6 and 7. So we need to know who said that. When did they say that? Like also in bio, you learn DNA, RNA, right? The helix and all of that. You know, when you learn about Darwin's theory of evolution, have you ever questioned it? Because if you go and do research, you'll know that Darwin refuted his own theory of evolution. Seriously. Darwin refuted his own theory of evolution, but the people, mankind was so caught up and bought up with it. No, it's real, it's true, and they pushed it through. Okay, so we need to ask questions. Like another question I would ask you is, who is the richest man in the history of mankind? Who is the richest man? Bill Gates, that's a common answer I get, Warren Buffett, but he actually has the correct answer. King Mansa Musa, a black man from Africa. But because it doesn't fit a certain criteria, a certain agenda, they don't want you to know that. You got to learn to start asking smart questions. Because remember, who created the curriculum? Ask that. Ask these kind of questions. You got to become, you saw what he told you is, they sometimes will give you information. You know when he told you about the 3 different religions in the boat, right? It's the same thing. They only give you information what they want you to know. You need to actually expand on that. Read more, learn more, ask questions. And let me give you one very smart question. Being a lecturer, you got to learn to use this question from now right till you go to work, even in university, college, when you're working. When you're learning information, always ask the teacher or the lecturer, how will we be tested on this information? Is it theory? Is it practical? Is it essay? Is it true and false? Is it MCQs? How are we going to be tested? Always ask the teacher, how will we be assessed on this information that you've just given us? Okay, very important question to ask. And very rarely do we ask that. So get in the habit, and these are just 1 or 2, right? There's a lot of smart questions you need to start asking. Because more questions equals more understanding. Get in the habit to take this a step further when it comes to questions. If you want to become a really good student, whether it's in school or in university, get in the habit every single class, every single subject, every single lecture you go to, you must ask at least 1 question. Must ask at least 1 question. If you feel like too, shy or quiet, I don't want to ask questions in the front of the whole group, make it a habit that you go up to the lecturer or the teacher alone and ask them a question. Something about the information that you've learned. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is now we need to assess ourselves to see how well do I know this information that I just took in, and I had some strategies to keep it in. Now the best way or the most common way that most people do this is oral testing. They'll ask somebody, please ask me some questions, right? Oral questions. But if you want to really get good at assessing yourself and test taking, past papers are the best. Let me explain why. You see, teachers are like you and I. They're human beings. They love free time. Now, do you know how long it takes to set out a new test from scratch? It takes anything between 6 to 10 hours. Do you think teachers got 6 to 10 hours just to spare just like that? No. So you know what they, yes. Is your parent a teacher by any chance? No. But let's explore this, right? So do you know what teachers do? I not necessarily Google. The first thing teachers do is schools by law have an archive. they have to keep at least 5 years of past year papers. I'm giving away teacher secrets here. So teachers will take last year's and the previous year's and the other years, the last 3 or 4 exams. They'll take all, copy and paste, change the names, change the variables, numbers, details, things like that, and they give you the same test. Now, if you did the past year paper and this looks familiar, different numbers, different days, but it looks familiar, suddenly you get good at it. In fact, I always tell matriculants that if you want to guarantee at least no less than 65%, you got to do 12, a minimum of 12 past year papers. But here's the kicker. When you do a past year paper, please do not be like all the other students, and especially I see this in university a lot. They're doing a past year paper, textbook is there, memo is there. You do it as though you are actually writing the exam, okay? That's the difference between active and passive learning. It's the difference between active and passive learning. So do as many past year papers as you can. If it was just one section, that section in the paper, how many questions? Answer those questions. Also, the last thing is, best way is to look at real life examples. Because once you get to university and college, we teach everything in case studies, real life examples. So that's the 3-step to learning any information, whether it's flying a plane, playing a musical instrument, playing a sport. 3 steps to learning any information. First, I must take the information in, then I got to keep the information in, and then I got to learn how to use it and put it into application. All right? So, last thing I will teach you, and then I will call it a day. And we'll do some questions. All right? I want to show you, I told you about the technique to learn in less time, but remember 4 times more information? Let's explore. Let's play. So, when we learn, generally, this is a graph, okay? On this side of the graph is your attention and concentration. On this side is time. How much of time am I sitting to study? And I know the average amount of time in South Africa spent by students is 2 hours. And this stems from primary school. Because from primary school, your mother will say, from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, you sit here and you don't move. That's finish all the homework. Okay? So the average amount of time people spend is plus minus 2 hours doing homework and studying. Now, let's look at it. If you were studying for 2 hours, when you start studying, your attention and concentration is high. It's up there. But as it goes, it starts dropping. After 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, did I update my status? Hey, I wonder what mommy is making to chow. Did I download the latest episode of Arthurul? And you start thinking about everything but studying. True or false? And it stays right down. It stays right down. In the last 10 minutes, you look at a watch. Hey, 10 more minutes and I finished. It goes back right up. So I've studied the memory, and I teach a whole one-day memory workshop which teaches 15 different memory techniques. But I've learned the science behind memory. Memory operates on a principle of what we call primacy and recency. Your memory will only remember 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there. 2 hours is 120 minutes. So you only remember 20 minutes work. Clearly doesn't work. This worked 30 and 40 years ago when your parents were in school, when your teachers were in school. It doesn't work in the 21st century. What I want you to do is you learn in what I created a block time system. So you learn and you study now, or you do work in blocks of 20 minutes. You study for 20 minutes and you stop. 20 minutes, you stop. You have a 10-minute break. You come back, you do another 20 minutes, you stop. 10-minute break. You come back, you do another 20 minutes, you stop. Have a 10-minute break. And this break is like witar namaz. It's wajib. You have to stop even if you are in the zone and in the mood. You got to stop, wake up from where you are, take a walk, update status, drink some water, whatever. You can do whatever you want in this 10 minutes. But in this 20 minutes, high focus, no phone, no food, no friends, no distraction, no food, nothing. Maximum focus. In this 10 minutes, go to town, do whatever you want. I strongly suggest you walk around, eat something, drink some water, update your status, look at your messages. Do not watch TV. If you watch TV, you get stuck into it. It's called the zygotic effect. You just want to know how it finishes. So you might, the episode is like 1 hour or whatever, you're not going to come back to do the next one. And please don't go home and tell your parents, Junaid said must only study 20 minutes. I'm saying 20 minutes, 10-minute break, come back, do another block of 20 minutes. 10-minute break, come back, 20 minutes. And like this, in 2 hours, you'll have 4 blocks of 20 minutes, right? Now, remember I told you, how does the memory operate? Primacy and recency. What do we start and stop? See here, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 stops and starts compared to 2. You're suddenly going to remember 4 times more information. But let's look a little bit more in depth. Here, your attention and concentration went right down to 0. Here, your attention will remain above 95%. It will remain above 95%. If you're wondering and you're questioning, why did Junaid choose 20 minutes? Why not 30 minutes? The average human attention span now in the 21st century is approximately 22 to 28 minutes. So we know for a fact, science is telling us, people lose attention and concentration by 22 to 28 minutes, unless you have techniques and strategies like I do to captivate people for long periods, like 2 hours and 3 hours, right? Unless you know those techniques, then you can do it long periods. But for now, you don't know that. You study for 20 minutes, and then you have a 10-minute break. Now, let's look at one more. Why is Junaid saying this break is like Witr Namaz? Why is it so important? Why is he telling me to stop even if I'm in the zone, in the mood, and I want to carry on? This is what happens. Can I borrow your example? Right? Let's imagine for a moment that in 2 hours, the old way, you learned 50 things, right? And we'll imagine each dot is 1 bit of information. So if I've got 50 dots like this, it's 50 bits of information. Now let's imagine this exam pad is 1 bit of information. If I have 50 like this, and I took the 50 bits of information, and I scattered it, some in the back, some on that side, some in this side, some in the front, some this side, some under the tables. I scattered it all over. And I asked you now, go and collect these books. Is it easy or is it hard? It's hard because it's scattered all over. This is what happens to the memory. When you study for the long period with no breaks, the information is scattered all over, making it very difficult to access, making it very difficult to remember. But in this break, when you take this break, memory operates on what we call a gestalt. It stacks information neatly one on top of the other. Like if I took the books, I took 50 of these exam pads because I got 50 bits of information. I stacked them up neatly one on top of the other like your teacher stacked books in the class. And now I left it on this table and now I told you go and collect the books. Is it easy or is it hard? It's easy because you know exactly where to go. That's why this break is so important. It will help stack the information neatly so it knows exactly where to go to access that information. Make sense, guys? Excellent. So, I've reached the end. No, seriously, I'm done. Did you guys enjoy the session? Has it been beneficial? Look, I'm going to be seeing you every time you come here. I'll be teaching you how to write essays with a framework, how to write letters, how to tackle exams, all of that, right? We're going to do this continuously right till when you finish school. So, can I ask you very quickly, open a blank page and write down what was your experience like on this session. If you can write, if you put your name, you could win a prize. We give prizes out annually. It ranges from technology, whether it's iPads, notebooks, laptops, even phones, data, cash prizes, whatever our sponsors give us. You could win a prize. If you do not want it to be published, you just put down right at the bottom, do not publish. Okay? So write down very quickly, what was your experience like? Those of you that didn't get, did you guys get my contact details? Yes. You're welcome to message me. That's my number and that's my email address. I'll write it down here for you. Please write down what your experience was like. If you Google my name, all my social media profiles will come up actually. So yes, you'll find me on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. You can subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I even have a fan page on Facebook as well. Hey? We gotta keep up to date, man.
Allah, الحميد المجيد الرشيد الشهيد اللطيف الخبير